Hello my lovely friends, it's Danielle here. I hope that you're having a super fun day. Today we are recapping, reviewing, and ranking Selena Gomez's Rare album in anticipation of her new music coming out. I can't believe I'm saying that. I'm just so excited to hear more of her music again. So now we are going to go back and look at all the songs from Rare now in hindsight of her new documentary called My Mind and Me. So the order I'll be reviewing all of these tracks is sort of based on when they came out and overall popularity. And at the very end of this video, I will be showing you my personal ranking of all of these songs, and I'll be giving you a little look at my predictions for her next album. So thanks for joining me today. If you are new here, welcome, or welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. If you are a Selena Gomez fan, like me, and you enjoy makeup, beauty, fashion, or anything Disney related, then you've come to the right place. These are all areas of discussion on my channel, as well as videos about Catholicism, because I am Catholic and my faith is very important to me, and I enjoy sharing that as well. So if any of that interests you, I would love for you to stick around. Please make sure to hug that subscribe button and ring the little bell so all of my other videos will come right to you. Now let's discuss the overall album. Selena knew that her album was going to be Rare right from the very beginning, and she started writing and recording music 4 years prior to Rare's release. This was her big comeback album after being away from the spotlight for a while. It was released on January 10th of 2020, and I can't even believe that it's already been 3 years now since it came out. She chose the word rare because she felt a special connection to it. It conveys the message that just being yourself, the unique person who God created you to be, is enough, and that is beautiful and that is rare. She wants to remind people to love themselves for who they are and not to compare themselves to others. As we all know, comparison is the thief of joy. And a good way to combat that is for us to recognize the wonderful qualities and aspects of ourselves. Selena has done such a wonderful job with continuing to promote this message through her Rare Beauty makeup brand, which has a particular focus on supporting people with their mental health. I believe listening to music can have a significant impact on our mental health. It can help us reflect, process emotion, and heal, but Selena also thought that it was so cathartic to write and articulate her thoughts into song. Selena co-wrote every single song on the album. It truly depicts the trials and tribulations that she's gone through, and the whole album is just really transparent and shows a vulnerable side of Selena that we really hadn't seen before. We can see this experience captured in the lyrics of her songs, and even more clearly in her new documentary called My Mind and Me, which explores her life story and her diagnosis of bipolar disorder. I personally think the longevity of this album is remarkable. Rare is constantly something I go back to. It's full of positive energy, it's very upbeat and fun, and it evokes a sense of confidence and self-love. I also appreciate that she doesn't use any explicit language in her songs. None of her songs have the F word in it, and I admire her for keeping it classy. If you didn't know, Rare has 3 different versions of the cover art. First, the original artwork has Selena laying down in a very vulnerable position, and she is filtered in black and white. In contrast, her t-shirt with the word Rare on it is bright and colorful. It's an interesting color choice, and I believe that the grayscale shows what she was going through in those dark times, while the splatters of light and color shows that she is entering into a new chapter full of joy and confidence. This color contrast is also seen in her music videos for Lose You to Love Me and Look at Her Now. The second album cover shows a collage of Polaroid photos. Selena enjoyed this photo shoot because she got to hang out with her friends, and they took the pictures for her. This album cover is shown on the exclusive CD version of Rare from Target, and it includes some bonus tracks, which are Bad Liar, Fetish, It Ain't Me, Back to You, and Wolves, which were all originally released as singles way before Rare came out. And the third album cover features a profile of Selena showing off her Rare neck tattoo. This album was released on April 9th of 2020, and it only came out as a digital copy. As you can see, she is wearing her favorite color red, and I believe her lip colors are a combination of Rare Beauty's Lip Soufflé matte lip creams in the shades Inspire and Transform. The cover photo looks like it was taken from the set of filming the Boyfriend music video, and this version of the album includes a few other bonus tracks, including Boyfriend, She, Souvenir, and Feel Me. So the first track that was released was Lose You to Love Me, and it appears as track number 4 on the album. This is the main single, and at first blush, it may seem obvious as to what this song is about, but if you read between the lines, it actually has a deeper meaning than what you may think. In the My Mind and Me documentary, we see her struggling with being diagnosed with bipolar disorder and experiencing psychosis. It was very vulnerable for her to share that in the documentary, but this area of her life was first explored in the song Lose You to Love Me. Many people believe that the song is about Justin Bieber and the toxicity of that relationship, and that is definitely a theme of the song. But after seeing the My Mind and Me documentary, we can see that this song has a much deeper meaning. It's actually more about her working through therapy to extinguish her bipolar disorder that was spreading like wildfire in her life and impacting her emotions in a negative way. The you she is referring to in this song is really her diagnosis, and I actually believe that is a much more powerful interpretation of this song. She realized in order to truly love herself, she needed to go through the hard work of therapy to manage her illness so she could live a much more happier and fulfilled life. Even though a mental illness is not a choice, it is a choice to get help when you're struggling. One of the biggest obstacles for people to get treatment for a mental illness can be the stigma associated around mental illness or just an overall denial of the problem. I appreciate that Selena is trying to normalize the conversation around mental health, and I think that that's going to help a lot of other people see where they need help and to choose treatment to get better, and I'm really thankful for that. Now taking a look at the music video for this piano ballad, we can see that it was produced in black and white, and this was deliberately reminiscent of her music video, For the Heart Wants What It Wants. This color choice was intentional to show the darkness surrounding her at this point of her life. It shows her sitting down, reflecting on the past, with faded transitions and video overlays, exploring a roller coaster of many different emotions. In interviews, she's spoken about how she's poured her heart and soul into this song, and it was the most vulnerable track she had ever written. It's all about her closing this chapter of her life and starting again anew. I truly love this song and everything it represents, and I really do like it. But this might be an unpopular opinion, but it's just not my favorite song on the album. However, I do believe that it's one of Selena's best songs that she's ever written, and it's just because it is so vulnerable and so deep, and it's a piano ballad, it's a little bit hard to listen to with all of those heavy undertones, which is kind of the same way I feel about My Mind and Me. I personally enjoy more of the upbeat tracks, which we'll get to in a little bit. This song and video definitely made a significant impression after she had been absent from music for a while. So I would say that it was a victorious comeback. So as she closes that chapter with Lose You to Love Me, she starts another one with Look at Her Now. This one is listed as track 3 on the record, and it's a celebration song. It was specifically dedicated to her fans who have been there for her, even in her absence from the spotlight. This dance bop has a lot of reverb, and it's inherently a self-empowerment anthem, and it's definitely one of my favorite songs on this album. In the music video, we can see how this song is meant to be a foil to Lose You to Love Me and a continuation of that narrative. We see lots of brilliant colors and hear an upbeat rhythm that captures the essence of positivity and resilience. Selena has emerged radiantly from a toxic relationship from all of the emotional turmoil it caused her. In this video, we see that she is accompanied by other female dancers, which indicate her girlfriends who supported her through her dark times are now celebrating with her in her victory now that she is well again. Personally, I think this music video was visually inspired by Hilary Duff's music video for Sparks. There are a lot of similarities, with many vivid colors, having background female dancers, and dancing in a studio with geometric shapes. The Look at Her Now music video was entirely filmed on the iPhone 11, where they taped iPhones to the walls, the floors, everywhere. And this is the second video that was filmed like this, with the first one being Lose You to Love Me in this partnership with Apple. These two songs were released as singles back-to-back in October of 2019, and it was her way of entering into this new era called Rare. Now, speaking of Rare, this is the title track for her album, and it is also the first song on her record. The music video for Rare has a very ethereal look, with trippy visual effects and an iridescent ambiance. The prismatic colors have a similar feel to the Look at Her Now music video, And the flowers and plants surrounding her feels reminiscent of her performance on Fly to Your Heart when she was with Disney. The floating bubbles and drifting glitter enhance the scene, giving it a much more magical quality. And I love that she uses the butterfly to symbolize hope, beauty, and transformation. The music video was filmed in nature, which was inspired by her trip to Kenya that we see in her documentary, My Mind and Me. The lyrics tell a story of embracing your own uniqueness and choosing not to settle, that it's worth to wait for something better. The message actually re-emphasizes one of Selena's most popular songs from early on in her career called Who Says. The song is not meant to be prideful. She even admits that she doesn't have it all and she's not claiming to. It's about recognizing your own worth and dignity made in the image and likeness of God. She says repeatedly throughout the song, "And I'll bet there's somebody else out there to tell me I'm rare, to make me feel rare." Of course, she desires to have a relationship where she can be loved and valued, but she's also saying that she doesn't need to hear it from somebody else. She's actually inferring that she can accept her own affirmation, to tell herself that she's rare. This goes along with her makeup brand Rare Beauty that promotes positive self-affirmations through their Rare Reminders. Each Rare Reminder is meant to be a boost of self-confidence, turning negative thoughts into positive ones. As a Catholic, I personally love the word rare because it's associated with the Blessed Virgin Mary. Our Lady was the most rare of all of creation because she is the Immaculate Conception. And I just think it's so beautiful to look towards Our Lady to aspire to a life of virtue and holiness in our own lives so we can become the best versions of ourselves. Rare shows just how much Selena has grown through the years through her hardships and how she continues to try to be a better version of herself. And that is why I love this song. The next song is Vulnerable, and it's featured as the 6th track on her record. I can already say that Vulnerable is my favorite Selena song ever, probably my favorite song of all time, and I also know that it's one of Selena's favorites too. I believe the title for this song, Vulnerable, is a very beautiful choice. The word vulnerable is related to the Latin word vulnera, which means wounds. To create intimacy in any relationship must mean that we must show our wounds to others. And intimacy can be seen in a certain way by breaking down the word by its syllabic parts. In, to, me, you, see. Intimacy. To create intimacy, it truly is to open up to the deepest part of ourselves. Every single one of us have all been wounded, and just as Christ did, he showed his wounds after his resurrection to his apostles. We are to use this example of Christ in our own life to be vulnerable with others and to create intimate relationships. Showing our wounds to others is a way to build intimacy, and intimacy is intrinsically linked to vulnerability. When we have been hurt, it might be a temptation for us to cover up those wounds, but that is why Selena says vulnerability is strength. It takes true courage to open up and to be honest with ourselves and with others to create intimacy, even at the risk of being hurt again. Selena's core message is that forgiveness is always necessary. No matter how many times we've been torn down, either by ourselves or by others, it is always important to get back up again, showing kindness and charity towards all. This message is really what makes this such a powerful song. I truly believe that this song should have been one of the singles for her albums, and I think it actually deserves a music video, probably over Boyfriend. Besides the message, everyone loves Vulnerable because it has such a catchy beat, Selena's vocals are incredible, and it has an amazing production mix. I really like hearing the tribal vibes that are incorporated throughout this song. It really seems like this was also inspired by her trip to Kenya. And in the background vocals, we can hear a voice saying the word begin over and over. It's very subtle, and you really have to listen for it. But this voice is beckoning her to open up, to share her story, and to be vulnerable. Hands down, I believe this is the best Selena song ever. It's definitely going to be a challenge for her to top, but I think she is up to the challenge. Another really great song on Rare is called Dance Again. This one comes in at track number 2. This one starts out kind of slow on the piano, but then it actually builds, and it has a great electro-pop disco beat. The first 2 lines of the song are probably some of the most powerful lyrics from the whole track. It first starts out with, "Happiness ain't something that you sit back and you wait for. She's essentially saying carpe diem, or seize the day. Go after your dreams and don't hold back, as long as it's prudent, of course. But even though that might be hard, that takes both courage and confidence. The second lyric goes, confidence is throwing your heart through every brick wall. Wow, that's another strong lyric. She's essentially saying that going after your dreams will be hard, but it will be worth it in the end. Dance Again demonstrates that after we've been through a period of anxiety, or even opening up and being vulnerable, that each of us can get back to who we truly are and flourish into a better version of ourselves. In her song, she repeats, feel so, feel so, feel so good, which actually reminds me of Ashley Tisdale's song called Feeling So Good on her album Symptoms, which is also about mental health. Of course, these songs sound very different from one another, but the message is essentially the same. I really love Selena's dance performance video of this track, and I'm not sure if any of you noticed, but also in her song Love Will Remember from a while ago, Selena actually has Dance Again in the lyrics. And I'm not sure if this is a reference, but if it is, it's quite possible that Selena was working on this song for a very long time. Now moving on to People You Know. This song is listed as track number 7 on the album, and it's actually another one that I really enjoy from Rare. Selena said that a friend of hers began to write this song, and the lyrics really spoke to her. There are times in life where people can come and go out of our life, whether it be for a season, maybe it's permanent, but whether or not we want that or not, it can just happen, and it doesn't even have to be a romantic relationship. The message behind this song really reminds me of Selena's song called Love Will Remember, which was her most personal track from her album Stars Dance. Love Will Remember talks about remembering someone who was in your life for a season, which is really similar to People You Know. There are many different seasons in life, and as the song says, sometimes people can go from people you know to people you don't know anymore. And it's a sad reality, but I also think it's a very mature understanding of life. Personally, I've had friends who have left my life, and of course it hurt. But sometimes it's important to understand that not all relationships are meant to last forever, and to be okay with that. The meaning behind this song also reminds me of another song that she was featured on called We Don't Talk Anymore. The messages are similar. I think We Don't Talk Anymore is a little bit more about a romantic relationship, and People You Know can kind of apply to anyone that you know, any relationship in your life that has faded away. I am just so thankful for Selena for shedding some light on this kind of hurt and grief and turning that into a relatable, upbeat song that people can connect to. The melody, rhythm, and production of this track are all incredible. It's very repetitive, but it's also very catchy and easy to memorize the lyrics, which is why I think it's another fan favorite. Now let's talk about Crowded Room. This song is a very relaxed song, and it has a chill sound with R&B undertones. It's listed as track number 9 on the album and was inspired by a married couple who are both friends with Selena. Whenever this couple went to a social event and they were separated for a time, occasionally they would glance across the room at each other and hold up one index finger, indicating that you're my number one. And Selena thought this was such a sweet little gesture that she wanted to write a song about it. Crowded Room is meant to be a fun song that captures the romance and excitement that you get at the beginning of a new relationship. It personally reminds me of a scene from Pride and Prejudice where Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth are dancing together and are engaged in a very deep conversation. In this scene, we see them dancing together, and all of a sudden, everyone disappears. The director did this deliberately to show that they only have eyes for each other, even in a crowded room. Selena wanted a male artist to join her for this song because Crowded Room comes from both a male and female perspective. It was really important for her to find the right person to collaborate with, and she was very happy that Black agreed to do it with her. I really enjoy this song. I love the production and Selena's vocals. I personally could have done without the collaboration with Black. I'm not a fan of rap, so for me, I would have preferred it just being a solo song, but I see why she included him on the track. I do think it's interesting that Taylor Swift mentions Crowded Room in her song Question from her Midnights album. Do you think that's a coincidence, or do you think that was her referring to Selena because they're best friends in real life? I don't know. I'll let you be the judge. The next song, Ring, is track number 5 on the album, and Selena describes it as a song that is sassy and exudes confidence. In keeping with the theme of Rare, she includes the lyric, "I'm one in a billion," in the very first verse. The music has a Latin pop influence with the guitar and other electronic percussion instruments. In the lyrics, Selena describes that she has all of these suitors fawning over her, but she isn't interested in any of them. Instead, she intends to wait for someone better to come along, someone who is truly interested in her and who she is as a person, which resonates with the meaning of Rare, the title track. She uses the word ring throughout the song in different ways, giving it a double meaning. She refers to having these guys wrapped around her finger like a ring, but she also says that she has been ignoring their calls by letting the phone ring. I like how she ends the track with the subtle ring of a triangle instrument. I really like how she ties in sounds that correspond to the lyrics of her song. This is also noticed by the fact that she uses the word string throughout the song, which correlates to the sound of the guitar, which I think is very clever. Selena shows a very playful and flirtatious side to her in this song, and I think we're all here for it. I really enjoy this song, but I actually think there are some songs that are even better that we haven't even gotten to yet. Now let's take a look at Cut You Off. This is number 12 on the album, and it's a mid-tempo track. The meaning behind the song is very similar to People You Know and It Ain't Me. It essentially is talking about a past relationship that someone has moved on from and feels better about it afterwards. It sounds like she's talking more about a romantic relationship in this song. In the lyrics, she indicates that this relationship lasted for 4 years, and now she's ready to cut ties and move on, letting go of all that mental baggage that's been weighing her down. It's really about breaking free and brushing it off and learning to go on with life again. She ends the song with the lyric "cut off" at the very end, which I think is clever considering the message of her song. I do believe that cutting someone off in life should be a very last resort. Usually in any healthy relationship, it's important to work through those hard times. But in rare circumstances, if a relationship is becoming toxic, sometimes the best thing to do is to completely let it go. The next song is Let Me Get Me, which is number 8 on the original album release. This one has an upbeat Latin rhythm and has a particular focus on having a good relationship with your mental health, which is similar to Dance Again. In this song, Selena is essentially singing about feeling freedom from the thoughts that are typically spiraling around in our head and not letting ourselves succumb to those anxieties. In this album, I think she starts off some of her songs with very strong lyrics from the get-go, and I personally like the first verse, which goes, "Like a prayer surrounding us, moving effortlessly, every word is relief. I'm in dance floor therapy, all my babies and me, but tonight it's for free." In these lyrics, she's saying that her therapy is going out with her girlfriends and having a good time on the dance floor, which is why she says, "But tonight it's for free," instead of going to a talk therapy session like she might normally do. This implies that she's been down and depressed many times before, and through therapy, she has learned strategies in CBT and DBT on how to break those thought patterns and change them into positive ones. The message behind this song also reminds me of Ashley Tisdale's song called Love Me and Let Me Go, which is also about freeing yourself from the mental gymnastics and anxieties that keep you down. I really love that both Selena and Ashley, who are alumni of the Disney Channel, have taken such strides in the world and have tried to break the stigma with mental health in the lyrics of their songs. I appreciate that they put such a positive twist on such a heavy topic and make their experiences relatable for others. And if you like Ashley Tisdale's music, I did a review of her album Symptoms, which was split into 2 parts, 2 different videos, and I will put those links in the description box below. Now let's discuss track number 10 on the album, which is called Kind of Crazy. The production of this track is a little bit more relaxed. It has sort of a chill vibe and kind of sounds a little bit like lo-fi mixed with slightly jazzy undertones. Interestingly enough, Selena teased her fans with this song in March of 2016, way before Rare was released. And I actually think since this album was released, this song has gained more popularity over the years. I actually hear this song playing in Target all the time now. This song is about a relationship that started out sweet, but is now becoming toxic. Selena realizes that she needs to remove herself from the situation for her own mental health and well-being. As she says in the lyrics, "I'm pretty sure I can't take no more, I can't take no more." While this relationship has taken Selena on such an emotional roller coaster, she says in the lyrics, "Luckily, no damage done." Selena is saying that she can confidently walk away from this relationship unscathed because she recognizes her own worth and dignity as a human person, which is very similar to the message behind the title track, Rare. I really love the bridge on this song. Her voice is so angelic, light, and airy, and the background also has chimes that really give it a magical quality. This one is another great tune. Do you think that is kind of like Lose You to Love Me? Could we replace toxic relationship with mental illness? Does it work here? Let me know what you think. Track number 11 was called Fun, and Julia Michaels was one of the co-writers with Selena on this song, and she actually suggested for the title to be called Fun. In an interview, Selena had said about this song, "The whole objective of the song was me being free-spirited and excited to flirt again and get back in there." So it sounds like to me, after a prolonged period of psychiatric care, Selena came out feeling refreshed and herself again and ready to get back out in the dating scene. Selena teases us in the lyrics, poking fun at a few references to her mental health, where she says, "This is just what the doctor ordered. Put a gold star on my disorder." And later she says, "You get me higher than my medication," which is her way of saying that this new person in her life is taking her on an exciting new adventure. In the song, Selena seems to be unsure if this guy is the right person for her, but she's willing to give him a chance because she enjoys being with him and he's fun. This is another mid-tempo track, and it actually has some funky electro-pop undertones. The production is a little bit sparse, and it kind of actually reminds me of another song Julia Michaels did with Selena called Bad Liar. Personally, I think the song is a little bit too slow. There is a part where the tempo picks up at the end, and I think it would have been better if the song was like that for the duration. And also, Selena is kind of more talking in this song, and I don't really feel like it showcases her vocal range as well. Overall, I don't think it's a bad song, but unfortunately, I think it's just not very memorable, and I think Fun could have been a little more fun than it actually was. And now for the last song listed on the original cut of the album, track number 13, called A Sweeter Place. Selena collaborated with Kid Cudi, and she entrusted him with the entire vision of her song, including the lyrics, melody, and production. Selena was so excited to work with Kid Cudi because she's a huge fan of his, and I think it's great Selena's working with people that she really wants to, but at the same time, I also think that this song would have been better as a solo. I personally don't like Kid Cudi's style, and I also think it was a little too influenced by his personal taste, because it really sounds more like a Kid Cudi song rather than a Selena Gomez song. The message of this song is simply wanting to escape the public eye and to enjoy a private place of peace and tranquility. This is an overarching theme for Selena because it's actually going back to mental health and well-being. Selena says that her favorite lyric of this song is, "Holding hands with the darkness and knowing my heart is allowed." She says that the meaning behind this lyric is holding hands with her anxiety and learning to let it go, so she can be free and in a peaceful state of mind. A sweeter place, if you will. I think Selena's vocals are incredible, but they are kind of drowned out by the electronic music mix. And maybe if it wasn't so synthesized, it actually might have been better. I personally think an acoustic version of the song would be amazing. It would really highlight Selena's vocals a lot more. So what do you think? Do you think a collaboration with Kid Cudi was a good idea for this song? Or do you think, more like me, that Selena could have totally rocked this on her own? So now let's take a look at the bonus tracks for Rare, starting with Feel Me on the deluxe edition of the album. This song is listed as track number 17 on this version. This is an interesting track because this song existed way before Rare did, and it was actually first performed on her revival tour in 2016. It seems like Selena was teasing us with what to expect on her next album, but at the same time, I'm just not sure why this wasn't a part of the original cut of Rare. Although Selena had said that this song was originally taken from a different point in her life, a chapter that she has already since closed, and so maybe because she felt like it was from a different part of her life, she didn't really want to include it on this album. But it's possible that her fans changed her mind because it was a fan favorite and obviously she ended up releasing it. Literally hours before she released the song Feel Me, she went on Twitter and posted, "On the Revival Tour, I introduced a song that you guys haven't stopped talking about since. So, you asked and I listened. Today, Feel Me is out online and vinyl everywhere." So maybe with all of the hype of the song, she thought that this was a good one to include as a bonus track on the deluxe edition of Rare. This song was actually released as a single before it was on the deluxe version, and it came out originally on February 21st of 2020. I really enjoy this song. It's definitely one of my favorites from Rare, so I'm so happy that she released it. It's a great dance bop and actually has some ambient house influences. The final version of Feel Me that we hear on the deluxe edition actually has a slightly different production mix than the demo that was released, or I should say leaked, in 2017. I actually like this production mix a lot better, so I'm glad they took their time to fine-tune it. Lyrically, this song is about Selena remembering a significant other that she is no longer with, and hoping that her memory and her presence stays with him even when they're no longer together. However, even though this song is about an ex-boyfriend, I think some of it could apply to a current relationship. In the lyrics, she says, "Every time you dance with somebody, I want you to feel me." That could literally mean just that every time that you're with someone in a romantic way, like dancing, you want that person to be with you. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below on your interpretation of this song. Now, one of Selena's favorite tracks was originally titled I Want a Boyfriend, but later it was just changed to Boyfriend. I personally prefer the original title better since there are already a lot of songs that are called Boyfriend. This song is listed as the first song on the deluxe edition of Rare, and it was inspired by a text message that she sent to her friend and co-writer Julia Michaels, saying, "I just want a boyfriend." Essentially, this song is just about expressing a simple desire to find love, which is something everyone feels. And while Selena knows that that is important, she also particularly distinguishes that wanting to find a boyfriend is different than a need. For the music video, Selena kind of riffs off of the Frog Prince fairy tale. She gets a purple love potion from some girls, and each time it shows that he's not the right guy for her, it turns him into a toad. Selena kind of said that it felt like she was on The Bachelorette going on all of these pretend dates with these guys in this music video. By the end of the video, sadly, she's just left with a bunch of toads and still searching for her future boyfriend. Overall, I can totally see why this is a popular choice and a lot of people love this song. However, it's just not my favorite because I really don't like the production as much. It has a deeper bass and kind of a darker undertone, and it's just overall not my favorite sound. But I do like a lot of the claps that we hear in this song, and that is definitely a signature style of Selena's music. So even though it's not my favorite, I still really enjoy it, and I'm glad that she added it to the deluxe version of Rare. Now let's talk about Souvenir. This is the fourth track on the deluxe edition of Rare, and it's absolutely an incredible song. A lot of her fans think that this one should have been a single, and it should have had its own music video, which I definitely agree with. But because this is such a great song, some people are upset that it wasn't part of the original album, and assumed that it was cut, when actually Boyfriend, Souvenir, and She were not cut from the original album. Selena was actually still in the studio recording them, and because they weren't ready in time for the original album release, she ended up putting them as bonus tracks on the deluxe edition of Rare. But she did say that they were always intended to be a part of the album.
Yeah, there are a few surprises coming up for sure, because there were songs that I were working on after the album was mixed, and I was like, no, like these should have been on the album too, and so we're figuring out timing with everything, but yeah, I'm teasing a little bit more.
So I personally love the song Souvenir, and it's definitely one of my favorites from this album. I am kind of sad that it didn't get finished in time to be a part of the original album, but I'm just so glad that we get to hear it. I really love the mystical ambient sounds and the electro pop production on this track. Even just how they put a sound effect on how she says the word chills gives me chills. Souvenir has such a great melody, and it really deserves more recognition. I really want to hear more of this kind of sound and her sultry, breathy vocals on her upcoming album. In the lyrics, Souvenir tells the story of a girl reminiscing on a young love, and there are specific details to where and when this relationship took place. This actually kind of lyrically reminds me of the song It Ain't Me. I also really like her use of descriptive words to describe the dreamy eyes of her man as Egyptian blue. I just love that it's such a colorful and fun lyric. It just really speaks to me. Selena may also be referencing the song Fun in the lyrics of this song, where she says, "You're giving me chills at 100 degrees. And in Fun, she says, "You're a hot and cold combination." I definitely think that there is a link lyrically between these two songs, and I think it's cool how she's referencing it. One of my favorite lyrics is from the bridge of this song, which says, "Take my breath away just like a souvenir." It seems to indicate that she doesn't just want to be awestruck in a relationship, but she wants one that is stable and lasting. Someone who will treasure her as a keepsake and see that she is a rare gem to behold. The whole musical arrangement of Souvenir kind of feels like waves coming in and out of tide. Overall, this is truly a beautiful and mesmerizing song, and I personally think that it is one of her best on the entire album. The final bonus track of this album that was released on April 9th of 2020 and is part of the digital deluxe version of Rare is called She. This song is about Selena telling the story of her past life and how she was coping with the mistakes that she has made while she was growing up in the spotlight. Lyrically, she is talking to her younger self and giving herself advice in hindsight of everything she's gone through. I believe this song is all about coming to terms with her life circumstances and giving herself grace by showing herself compassion and forgiveness. This song is similar to Look at Her Now, since Selena is singing about herself in the third person. As for the sound of the song, I think it fits very well with the rest of the album. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Boyfriend, and maybe a little bit of Ring too. The harmonies and background vocals come in and out at just the right timing, and it really accentuates the musical depth of this song. I really think this is another good one that has kind of been overlooked and definitely deserves more recognition. So we finished covering the deluxe edition bonus tracks of Rare. However, there was also the Target exclusive version that has bonus tracks. And these tracks were released way before Rare, as I said in the beginning, and I kind of feel like they all have their own sound, which they kind of just stand alone as singles, so I'm not really sure that they fit very well as far as the soundscape of the album, but I'm glad she included them for the CD, and if I was going to add some bonus tracks to this Target exclusive version, I would have chosen maybe some of her unreleased music that's in her vaults, because we all know she has more music. But anyways, as far as the bonus tracks from this album, my favorites include It Ain't Me and Wolves from the bonus tracks. So that brings me to my final thoughts on Rare and my predictions of her upcoming album. So overall, I think Rare is an absolute masterpiece, and it's my favorite album from Selena so far. I do think that it's going to be hard for her to top or even to match, because it is so good, but I absolutely believe that she has the ability to, because she continues to deliver time and time again, and she's always getting better and better. From start to finish, each song on Rare feels like a cohesive body of work. There are a variety of different sounds and genres, from ballads to dance bops, but each one brings its own style and taste, and they all work together. I think it showcases her unique style and range in this album. With Rare, I think she puts some of her best songs at the top of the track list, so it starts out stronger. But as far as my personal ranking, this is what I would say are my favorites from start to finish. It includes also the bonus tracks that we talked about from her deluxe edition and the Target edition. And as you can see, my first favorite is Vulnerable, my second being Look at Her Now, followed by Souvenir, Feel Me, and the title track Rare. I do believe the song called My Mind and Me that came out with her documentary will probably be on her next album. And she also had teased us in October 2021 a song that is yet to be given a title, but is probably called I Feel Pretty. And this song was on her Rare Beauty social media sites, and I kind of think that that song will also be on her upcoming album. It seems like I Feel Pretty might be a little bit of a cover of the West Side Story version with Selena's own personal twist on it. So I can't wait to hear the whole song. It still hasn't been released and I'm waiting for it. So Selena recently said that she was trying to get away from sad girl songs for her new album, and I kind of think that My Mind and Me might be one of those, but overall I actually think that it's going to be very fun, very upbeat, and ready to dance again, just like her song from Rare. I definitely think there's going to be a connection between Rare and this upcoming album, as it's probably going to be a continuation of her life story. I have no idea what her next album will be called. If I was naming it, I would personally say, why don't we name it Beauty, because of Rare Beauty, like her makeup brand Rare Beauty. I just think that makes sense. And then we could have a song called Beauty, and it could go along with Who Says and all that jazz. So Selena, maybe think about that, because I think an album called Beauty would be amazing. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this little review and recap of Rare, and I would love to know your thoughts on this album. Is this your favorite record by Selena Gomez so far? And what do you think is going to be on her new album coming up? I would love to know your thoughts, so please feel free to leave a comment down below. Thank you so much again for watching, and if you've gotten to the very end of this video, please leave me a little butterfly emoji so I know that you are a dedicated viewer. Thank you so much, and always remember, my rare beauties, have courage, be kind, and be a saint. I'll see you in my next video. I love you all so much. Take care and God bless. Bye.